everybody, it's Marianne. I just wanted to pop on here really quick. There's had a couple of coaching calls today, and there's a topic that's been kind of popping up a lot recently, not just for my clients, but I've been having like conversations with random people about it too. And it's this topic of toxic positivity that you may not have heard of, but you may have heard of the positivity movement, or like just be positive movement. And while I think it's wise to bring presence around the quality of your thoughts and finding out with, personal inquiry, whether your thoughts are positive or negative. I don't think it is wise to always shy away from negative thoughts and push them away and try to vigilantly only allow ourselves to think positive thoughts and just be very vigilant about any negative thought that enters our mind. So we happen to be human, and most of us have a lot of habits that we're taught in our thinking processes, and we have a whole range of emotions, right? And if we weren't meant to feel negative emotions, then they wouldn't be available to us, right? So as human beings, all emotions are valuable, the positive ones, the good feeling ones, and the not so good feeling ones. And most of them arise from a thought pattern or a single thought. But avoiding negative thoughts can also bleed into avoiding negative emotions. It usually does. And so when we do that, we fall into these pitfalls of not allowing ourselves to feel our negative emotions and just repressing and suppressing and avoiding them, which are all really inefficient ways of handling those emotions. And so they get stuffed down or ignored. And then, of course, they're still there, so they need to come out some way. And a lot of times they'll be manifested in like a chronic disease or some kind of physical manifestation. So I just wanted to pop on here and just talk about that, because a lot of people, when they start changing their philosophy or questioning the philosophy of life, they jump on that positivity bandwagon because it sounds like it would feel so much better and feel so much happier. And I don't think we're meant to be happy all the time. A lot of people think that is like the purpose of life, is to chase happiness and stay in happiness all the time. And it's really not. I mean, we're here to experience the whole range of human emotion and human experience. And the pitfall of rejecting a negative experience or a negative emotion is what keeps us stuck in it. And I know it sounds sort of counterintuitive maybe, but whatever we resist persists. I've talked about this before. I bet you guys are kind of tired of me saying it. But when you find yourself in a negative emotion, whether it's just an emotion that popped up that had been ignored for 5 days and you're finally feeling it, or it's an emotion as a result of a thought pattern that you've been addicted to for a long time, it doesn't matter. But as long as you notice that you have the feeling and you let yourself feel the feeling and don't resist the feeling, then the energy behind the feeling will lose its power and it will move through you and out of you, so that you can go ahead and choose a better feeling thought. But if you resist the feeling and, I can't think that negative thought because it'll make me feel a terrible, icky emotion, and I don't want to feel that icky emotion, then you're really just denying your true authentic self. You're denying your humanity, right? And you're denying, just the whole range of human experience. So just make sure when you find yourself in a negative thought and then a resulting negative emotion, hold presence for that emotion, let yourself feel it, and then personal inquiry. Hey, where did that thought come from? Why am I thinking that thought? What can I think instead? Now, another thing about toxic positivity I wanted to talk about is a lot of people get into affirmations. So they want to tell themselves all the positive feeling things, all the positive thoughts to rewire their brain. And affirmations, I like affirmations, but I've changed my philosophy on affirmations recently because I realized that the gulf between the negative thought patterns that you are habitually into and positive thought patterns is such a wide gulf that people feel so much resistance to even crossing that distance between the positive and negative thought is so overwhelming and so big that they give up and they're like, nah, this is too hard. That's too big of a jump. So if you can get from a negative thought to just a neutral thought, right? One that doesn't really have a lot of emotion attached to it at all. It's just a neutral thought. Hi, Lori. Hi, Shelly. Then you're way better equipped, or more likely. Did you hear that? My stomach just growled. I just finished eating, so it must be a digestion, not a hunger growl. Sorry about that. So if you can coach yourself from the negative thought and the resulting negative feeling, hi Pam, to just a neutral thought, one that doesn't really have a strong emotion attached to it, then you're way better equipped to make that leap from neutral to a positive thought or just a better feeling thought. Especially when it's a big one, or especially when it's a really deeply held belief that you believe is true and you've believed is true for decades, right? It's really hard to make that jump from this negative thought that I believe is true to lying to yourself in an affirmation with the total opposite thought that there's no way that your subconscious mind is going to buy into. So when you tell yourself the affirmation, you're like, that's kind of bullshit, right? So just get from the negative belief to just a neutral one. I'm thinking I need to come up with an example here. Hold on. Right, my nose, a little ready nose here. What's a good example? Okay, that's a really deep thought. Let's not go that deep. That's really foundational. I don't believe that I can get everything done on my to-do list today, right? That's just a thought, and it's a belief, right? And you have, it comes from a belief about time. And the real worry behind that, though, is like something really bad will happen if I don't get everything on my to-do list done, right? So what is the belief behind the fear of not getting your to-do list done? So if you can't go from, it's really awful and I'm not a good person if I don't get my to-do list done, to, hey, I can just be in the now moment all the time, and if it gets done, it gets done. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm going to be okay. Like, that's a huge leap, right, for most people, because we attach a lot of self-worth to getting our to-do list done, right? So if you can coach yourself to neutral and just think, I'm just going to do my best, and I know I'm going to do my best, and that if I don't do my best, I'm still a good person. I'm not a bad person. It doesn't mean I'm a fantastic, perfect person, right? Going from I'm a bad, not good enough person to I'm a perfect person is just too big of a leap. But if you can coach yourself to like, if I can do my best is the best I can do, then that's the fact. There's really not a lot of emotion. If I do my best, then that's the best I can do. And it doesn't mean anything about me as a person being bad or good. So maybe that was a bad example. I was kind of on the spot. Sorry. But if that can give you an idea of just going a little bit to neutral, then once you feel the emotion, feel it all the way to its completion, then you can make the jump into, hey, I'm still really lovable. I'm really lovable actually no matter what I do. Nothing I do determines my value or worth as a person at all. That's a big leap, isn't it? And you can get there with practice, but let's get to neutral first, right? Hope you're having a great day.